Often departments within the same company will have a competitive relationship with one or more other departments within that company. In the end, this can actually negatively impact a department in multiple ways. In this episode, we'll discuss some of the benefits to a manager of encouraging cooperation with other departments in their firm. Hi, I'm Rick Kendall.
And I'm Fred Ball.
Welcome to Management Mastery. The purpose of these podcasts is to share what each of us has learned about good and bad management in our combined over 40 years of experience, both as managers and executive coaches. During that time, we've coached managers at every level in companies from Fortune 100s to brand new startups in all major businesses, including nonprofits, government, and education. So whether you're just starting in your first management position or are an experienced manager looking to strengthen your management skills, we know our podcast will be valuable to you.
Especially, but not just in highly competitive fields, the competition with other companies sometimes moves over into competition within the company. While this may provide some short-term advantages, there are many more advantages to be derived from cooperation with other departments in the company. Today, we want to discuss some of those advantages and how to achieve them.
First of all, such cooperation with other departments helps keep your team members connected to the broader objectives and goals of the company. It helps them to see the big picture behind what they do. And it's always good for staff members to know the reasons why they're doing what they do in terms of the larger goals of the company. And I tell you, I coached somebody at a company where the people who were in charge of the product had no idea of how the product got sold to the end user. And, so they're making a product, but they really have no understanding of how it was ultimately sold and what it was sold, the basis on which it was sold. So, it was very clear in this company that, and coach the leaders there, you got to explain to your people, get them exposed to, how the product is used on the ground, where it's actually sold, because that'll inform how to help them understand how to make the product better.
There's no question that we do this a lot in the coaching. It also, in terms of the story that just told, gives staff an understanding of what others in the company do and helps to build stronger understanding of the company and what it's trying to accomplish. And it also builds stronger personal bonds, team spirit, and connections within the company. So that point that you made is really an important one to help the members of your staff to see the bigger picture.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Even before the rapid growth of remote working, there was a tendency, especially among larger companies, for departments and functions to become siloed, where members of one department had little or no connection with or understanding of the functions of other departments. This often led to duplication of efforts, conflicting goals, and other sorts of inefficiencies due to a lack of communication and understanding between the two departments. Such a lack of communication can have a negative impact on overall corporate productivity. I've actually had clients where breaking down the siloed became part of the major goal of the company in a given year, where the CEO said, this is driving me crazy, and we've got to break these silos down. So that's an important function.
Oh, yeah. I mean, encouraging staff to cooperate with other departments also strengthens their social connections to the larger company. This is really important with remote working, as we briefly discussed in our June 25th episode on remote work. I mean, in an age of remote working, the more people interact with other departments, the firmer their connection to the company becomes. And loneliness and isolation were some of the strongest negatives about remote working that were mentioned by a high percentage of remote workers. So the more you can do to keep people integrated to the bigger company, the more rewarding the work becomes.
That's true, and whether they're working remotely or not, understanding what others in the company are doing builds stronger personal bonds, team spirit, and connections to the company, as you've said.
Right. And plus, cooperating with other departments can also improve individual and department performance. For example, it exposes staff to other ways of dealing with issues or problems, and it can help them learn new methodologies for attacking the problems. And they can also learn from others' failures and mistakes and can avoid duplicating them by seeing what's been done elsewhere in the company. And that improves department efficiency and productivity.
Interacting with others in different departments can also broaden one's own work experience and possibly skill set and capabilities, and make them a more valuable team member to their own department.
Yeah, and encouraging cross-department cooperation also has a number of potential benefits for you as the manager. I mean, for one thing, it broadens your own network within the company, and we've discussed the importance of building and maintaining a broad professional network in our July 11th episode on building a network. So having this broad network within the company not only increases your own visibility, but also gives you valuable information as to where the business is headed and how you can steer your department and to be more effective and valuable. And I worked with a client who went out of his way to build relationships with other departments. Some of them were his internal clients within the company, and really tried very hard to understand their needs and to give them good service. And what happened was he found himself in a position where he got job eliminated, and within a few days, the people that he had been servicing, that had been his clients, went to senior management and said, "You got to find this guy a job here." So it really protected him, and they did. They moved him into another department, and he got a promotion and more responsibility. So, and it was all because the people he had been servicing, and with whom he had built this network, came to his aid. So it really does make a difference.
That's a valuable story to keep in mind, the value of building the relationships. Also, being known as a manager who encourages cross-department cooperation can positively affect the manager's reputation with senior management.
Oh, yeah. So how do you go about improving cross-department cooperation, Fred?
Well, first of all, making such cooperation happens begins and remains at the top. You need to work with your counterpart in the other department to ensure that you both share the desire for the departments to cooperate and to lay out how that can best happen. Where are the greatest opportunities for each department to help each other? Where are there complementary skills or experience? Where are there task redundancies that can be reduced or eliminated to increase efficiencies and capabilities of both departments?
I think an example of this kind of, sometimes it's not even competition, but barriers, is the almost archetypal conflict between sales and marketing in an organization, where they don't talk to one another, they badmouth each other, and where at the end of the day, they really should be all on the same team, pulling in the same direction. So whatever you can do as a manager, if you're in one of those functions, to build bridges to the other team. That's going to help you, the other team, and your career.
That's absolutely true, and it happens in many of the other departments in addition to the sales and marketing, which you've brought up.
Right, and this means that you've got to, as a manager, you got to try to meet with the head of the other department or departments and get to know them, get to understand their business, and talk about how you can help them, whether they're your client or not. Are there ways that your department can help their department? And you also need to get feedback from members of your department who are working most closely with the other department. What's their experience like? Where's room for improvement or opportunities for even more cooperation? How should they be exploited? All of these topics should be discussed frequently and candidly with both your staff and the other manager.
Also, to the extent that it's possible, encouraging social interaction between members of the two departments can also be an effective way of encouraging cross-department cooperation, including having joint social events. You might even, if it's appropriate, have joint staff meetings from time to time to discuss areas of common interest. In short, we believe any such efforts will benefit both departments.
So, in summary, in this episode, we've discussed the importance of cross-department cooperation and communication. We discussed how such cooperation can improve overall company performance as well as morale within and between the staffs of both departments, and that the benefits of such cooperation have only increased with the spread of remote working. We point out that such cooperation has to begin with and be driven by the managers of the cooperating departments. And finally, we showed how such cooperation can benefit the individual manager as well as their department. We hope you have found this podcast useful and will come back again for more management mastery. If you have any comments about this or any of our episodes, or would like to find out more about our other services, including one-on-one coaching and group seminars for managers, visit our website at careercoachclass.com. Thanks for listening.